Okay, it's that time of the year again when I'm going to record a video going through the paper. Okay, so question 1, it was a show that question. And so I would turn them both into improper fractions first by multiplying, then adding. So 4 times 3 is 12, plus the 2 is 14 over 3. The denominator stays the same. 3 times 5 is 15, plus 4 is 19. So 19 over 5, the denominator stays the same. Then, in order to add them, I need to make the denominators the same. So I'm going to multiply top and bottom here by 5 to make it out of 15, and then top and bottom here by 3 to make it out of 15. Remember, if you get worried about your calculations, you can easily just use the calculator. You do not have to do these in your head. So 14 times 5 is 70. So that's 70 over 15. 19 times 3 is 57 over 15. And that gives you 127 over 15. It's not finished yet. You need to see how many 15s go into 127. So you can easily again do that on the calculator, and you'll see that 8 15s go into 127 with 7 left over, because 8 times 15 is 120 out of 15. And that's for the full 3 marks. Now, number 2, you've got a two-way table. It says complete the two-way table. So again, you can use your calculator. So the first one I'll fill in is here. I will do 150, take away 78. And that gives me 72. So 72 here. Then I'll do 150, take away 39. And take away 58 to give me that this must be 53. Here, I'll do 39, take away 27, which gives me 12. Here, on this one, I'll do 58, take away 42. Which gives me 16. And then here I've got 78, take away 12, take away 42, which gives me 24. And then on the one underneath, there's lots of different ways I can do that, but I'm going to do 53, take away 24, to give me 29. And I can always check if 27 plus 16 plus 29 equals 72. So I can always check that on the calculator. So 27 plus 16 plus 29. Does it give me 72? It does indeed. So they are all correct. Then it says what percentage, so work out the percentage of the out of the 150 students that are in year 10. What percentage of the 150 students are in year 10? So when you look, you can see that there are 78 year 10s, and so we do 78 divided by 150 times by 100, and that will give me my percentage. So 78 divided by 150 times by 100, which gives me 52%. Okay, so that's that one done. Number 3, find the highest common factor of 140 and 245. There are 2 different ways to do this. I'm going to do it by doing the prime factor tree, so 140, and I split it into 14 times 10. And then here, 2 times 7, I circle the 2 and the 7 because they're both prime numbers. And then 2 times 5 is 10. I circle both because they are both prime numbers. Now 245. I can do 49 times 5. 5 is a prime number. So I circle it, and then 7 times 7 is 49. And I circle both the 7s because they are both prime. So now I get my Venn diagram ready. 140, 245. And you can see there that I can put a 5 in the middle. I can put a 7 in the middle. And that's it. So just 2 and 2 here, and then a 7 here. And remember, highest common factor is just the numbers in the middle. So the highest common factor is 5 times 7, which is 35. And as I said, there are other ways that you could have done that. Some of you literally would have gone through all the factors of 140 and all the factors of 245, and then hopefully found that the highest is 35. My only issue with that is that sometimes you miss factors, and so then you end up with an incorrect answer. Okay, this one here, part B, again, it's part of this kind of question where we have to find the lowest common multiple. So that's what it wants you to do. It wants you to find the lowest common multiple. So let's do that. So I'm actually going to do it with the trees, but you don't have to. You could do the 50 times table and then the 80 times table. It is completely up to you. So 2 times 25, circle the 2, 5 times 5, and now let's do 80, 8 times 10, 2 times 4, circle the 2. So then we do 2 times 2 and circle our prime numbers, so and 2 times 5. So then let's get our Venn diagrams out. This is 50, this is 80. We've got a 2 that we can put in the middle. We've got a 5 that we can put in the middle. And that is it. So on this side, we've got 5. And on this side, we've got a 2 and a 2. And remember, 3 2s actually. 3 2s. And remember, the LCM is everything in the Venn diagram multiplied. So let's do that. So we've got 5 times 5 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. And so I'm going to do it on the calculator. 5 times 5 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. Which gives me 400. So every 400 minutes, they are going to sound together. So the buzzer and the bell will sound together every 400 minutes. And again, you would have got the same answer if you'd done the 50 times table and the 80 times table. You should have found 400 to be the lowest common multiple. But we haven't answered the question. It says, find the time at which they sound together. So they sound together at 10 a.m. The next one is 400 minutes later. And so let's put that into hours and minutes. So 400 minutes. So yeah, 400 minutes is 6 hours. So 6 hours and 40 minutes. So 6 hours and 40 minutes. So when I add that to 10 a.m., So 2 hours will take us up to 12 p.m. Then we've got 4 more hours, so that's 4. So at 4 p.m, and remember how we write p.m, so 16:40. So 16:40, or if you put 4:40 p.m, that is also fine. Okay, so 16:40 or 4:40 p.m. is when it will sound together again. Okay, question 4a. Anything to the power of 0 is just 1. So the answer is 1. Part B, you multiply the indices. So 2 times 3 is 6, so it should be x to the power of 6. 5 times 3 is 15, so y to the power of 15. You got 1 mark if you got that correct. Now to get the second mark, you have to make sure that the big number, the 3, that you cubed that as well. So 3 to the power of 3, which is 3 times 3 times 3. So your answer is 27. X to the power of 6, y to the power of 15. Next one, nice and easy, fully factorised. Remember I taught you to write it in your prime factors. So 12, if we split it up, is 2 times 2 times 3 times d times d times e, plus 16 is 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times d times d times e times e, lots and lots there. So let's cross off, let's circle what appears in both. So 2, another 2, a D, and another D, and an E. So when I put that together, I have got 4D squared E outside the brackets. And now let's see what's left on this side. On this side, I've only got the 3 left, plus on this side, I've got 2 times 2, which is 4, and then times an E, so 4E on that side. Okay. All right, next one, I'm going to solve this equation. So what I would do first is I would multiply out the brackets. So here, 3 times 2x is 6x. Take away 3 times minus 5, which is minus 15, equals 9 take away x over 2. Then I would multiply both sides by 2 to get rid of the divide by 2 here. And what that gives me on this side is 12x minus 30 equals 9 take away x. Now it should be nice and easy. I want to keep the x's on this side, so I'm going to add x. So I'm going to add x to get rid of the take away x here, so that cancels out the take away x. I'm left with 13x minus 30 equals 9. Then I will add 30 to both sides to get rid of the minus 30 here. And that gives me 13x equals 39. And finally, divide both sides by 13. And that gives me that x is 3. Okay, remember you can do this on the calculator if you need to, as in each of the bits of working out. If you're not sure what 30 plus 9 is or 39 divided by 13 is, you can do it on the calculator. Okay, next one. I have got 4x minus 2 over 3, take away 5 minus 3x over 4 equals 6. I would multiply everything by 12. basically. So I'm going to multiply everything by 12 just to get rid of the 3 and the 4 here. And so, in fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply everything by 12. And I'm actually going to leave it at first as a bracket, so 4x minus 2 over 3, so that you can see how it gets rid of the bottom. So 12 times 5 minus 3x over 4 equals 72. Now you can see here that this cancels out because 4 3's go into 12. This cancels out because 3 4's go into 12. So that becomes that way. So now I'm going to multiply out the brackets. So that's 16x minus 8 minus 15 plus, because I've got a minus and a minus here, so minus 3 times minus 3x is plus 9x equals 72. Okay, so just be careful of that with the negatives. So then, now we can start to tidy up. 16x plus 9x is 25x. Minus 8 take away 15 is minus 23 equals 72. And then I'm going to add 23 to both sides to get rid of it here, because to get rid of the minus 23. And I have 25x equals 95. And so now I am going to divide both sides by 25. Again, you can use your calculator. So 95 divided by 25 gives you 3.8. So x equals 3.8. So looking at this, we want to find this angle here marked x. So let's find either some corresponding angles, co-interior, or alternate angles. So here I have alternate angles. So alternate angles are equal. Luckily on this question they have not asked you to put your reasonings, so you just have to put the angles. So this one is 76 degrees. Then we know that opposite angles are equal, so that is also 76 degrees. Okay, so we've got those two now. And then I can see that angles on a straight line, so a straight line here, add up to 180 degrees. So in order to find this angle here, I'm going to do 180, take away 143, which gives me 37. Okay, so I've got those angles. Now this is a triangle here. So I should be able to find this by doing 76 plus 37, which gives me 113, and then doing 180 take away 113, which gives me 67. So 67 degrees. So that's 67 degrees. And so then x must be 67 degrees because opposite angles are equal. So that is 67 degrees. Okay. Right, so moving on. Question 7, I'm going to do a separate video showing you how to do that, simply because I need to use compass and use a compass, a protractor, etc. in order to show you that. So I'll leave that for now and show you on a separate video. Right, question 8. Which of these planets has the smallest diameter? So this one's nice and easy. That's why it's only worth 1 mark. It is indeed Mars. Because if you look, the one with the smallest indices is this one, so 3. And so 6.8 times 10 to the power 3 is the smallest, so it's Mars. It says calculate the difference in kilometres between the diameter of Saturn and the diameter of Neptune. So we are going to do 1.2 times 10 to the power 5, take away 5.0 times 10 to the power of 4. So the biggest take away smallest will give us our difference. There's lots of different ways we can do this. You can turn them into normal numbers. That's absolutely fine. Or we can make this one here, so the second one, into the power of in 10 to the power of 5. Okay, so if I want to write that as 10 to the power of 5, I get 1.2 times 10 to the power of 5, take away. Right, I want to raise this to the power of 5, but I still want it to equal the same number. So this becomes 0.5. So 0.5 times 10 to the power of 5 instead of 5.0, because I've moved the decimal point once because I'm timesing by another 10 here. Right, so now I can easily subtract them. I'm going to work out what 1.2 take away 0.5 is. Again, I'm doing this on here, but you can easily do this on your calculator. Okay, so we get 0.7. And so our answer is 0.7 times 10 to the power 5, although we've got to be careful because that is not in standard form. That will get you 1 mark. Now we need to shift the decimal point back here, and so it's become 7 times 10 to the power of 4. So that's your final answer. But it should equally work if you decide to change these into normal numbers. If you decide to change it into normal numbers, 1.2 times 10 to the power of 5 is, so that's moved it once, and then you want 4 zeros after, so it's 120,000. And then 5 times 10 to the power of 4 is 50,000. And then you can subtract them and you get 70,000, and 70,000 written in standard form is 7 times 10 to the power of 4. So either way is absolutely fine. Okay, next question. They want you to write it, calculate the ratio of the diameter of the moon. So that's first the diameter of the moon, so 3.5 times 10 to the power of 3. To the ratio of the sun, which is 1.4 times 10 to the power of 6. So they want you to write it in the form 1 to something. In order to make this first one, so to make this first one 1, I would have divided it by itself. So I must have divided it by 3.5 times 10 to the power of 3. Whatever I do to this side, I've got to do to this side as well. So I'm going to divide this by 3.5 times 10 to the power of 3 as well. Okay, so ultimately, I'm going to do 1.4 times 10 to the power of 6 divided by 3.5 times 10 to the power of 3. And as you know, with division, you can just, on your calculator, do 1.4 divided by 3.5. Which gives you 0.4, and then subtract the indices. So I'm going to do 6 take away 3, so it's times 10 to the power of 3. The only thing is that is not, well, it hasn't asked for it in standard form. I'm going to turn it into a normal number now. So 0.4 times 10 to the power of 3. If we move the decimal point once, and then we move it a second time and a third time, and so that's going to give us 400. So it's 1 to 400. is your answer. So 1 to 400. Okay, so turn it into a normal number. Okay, Mary saves for a holiday each year. In 2020, she saved a total amount. So each month in 2021, she saved $78. So first of all, we need to find out how much she saved in total in 2021. So total is 78 times the 12 months. You can just get your calculator and do that. So $936. And so we find the difference between that. So 936 take away 720. We want to divide by the original. So we want to divide by 720. So 936 take away 720 gives us 216 divided by 720. And we're going to multiply that result by 100 to turn it into a percentage. And times it by 100 gives you 30%. So the total amount Mary saved in 2021 was 30% more than the total she saved in 2020. Okay, question 10. So Zara must take 5 tests. Each test is out of 100. After 4 tests, her mean score is 64%. So we know that whatever the total of her 4 tests were, if we divide by 4, so remember the mean is add all the scores up and divide by how many, we know that gave her 64. Okay. So then to find out the total that she got in those 4 tests, we're going to do 64 times 4, which gives us 200. So 256. So that's how much she scored in total after taking 4 tests. However, we want after her 5th one, so after her 5th test, we want her mean score to be 70, which means that we actually want her total after 5 tests to be 70 times 5, which is 350. So we find the difference between 350 and 256 to say how much more she needs to get. So 350 take away 256, which means that in her last test she needs to get 94%, which is a lot, or 94 out of 100. So yeah, good luck to her. That's a huge score. Okay, next one. Question 11. So we've got 3 friends and they're going to share money. The difference between the amount of money that Gabrielle receives and the amount of money that Hadley receives is 196 euros. So remember, the numbers are written in order of their names. So that's Danny, that's Gabrielle, and that's Hadley. And so we're looking at the difference between Gabrielle and Hadley. So the difference between what they receive is 9 take away 5, which is 4 parts. Yeah, because Hadley receives 9 parts, Gabrielle receives 5 parts, so the difference is 4 parts. And we know that those 4 parts is equal to 196 euros. Okay, which means if we divide by 4, we know that 1 part, if we do 196 divided by 4, 1 part is 49 euros. So that tells us 1 part is 49 euros. It means that we can now work out how much Danny gets. Danny gets Daniel gets 3 parts. So we're going to do 3 times 49 euros. And that gives 147 euros. And that's how much Daniel receives. Okay, question 12. Okay, not as horrible as some of you maybe thought it would be. So we're going to look at this triangle here. First of all, so we're looking at this triangle here. And you can see, hopefully, that it is an isosceles triangle. So both this side here and this side here are radii. So they are both the radius. Is it double I? Can't remember. I think it's double I. They are both the radius because they come from the centre to the circumference of the circle. So from the centre to the circumference, centre to the circumference. So they're both radius. They should be the same length. So it's an isosceles, which means that this angle here must be 52 as well. Okay, so these two angles at the base are both 52. So to find out this angle here, then, so we're going to put reasons as we go along. So angles in a triangle add up to 180 degrees. And so we should do 180, take away 52 plus 52, which is 104. And that gives us 76 degrees. Okay, so this is 76 degrees. And then they want us to find A, B, C, which is here. So A is from A, B, and then C. So it's that angle there. So then we're going to use the fact that the angle at the centre is double the angle at the circumference. Okay, so nice and easy then. We halve 76, we do 76 divided by 2, which gives us 38 degrees. So this angle here is 38 degrees. Okay, so you need to put in those two reasons and the correct answer in order to get your full 3 marks. Okay, so some of you I think lost a mark simply because you didn't put your reasons. Okay, next one. Sorry, I hope you all saw that. I'll just quickly go back to that so that if you're copying that you can see, or you can pause the video. Okay, so now we have Venn diagrams. A and B are 2 sets. Remember, the N on the outside means how many elements are in that particular set. So this is saying that in total, in this whole set, there are 50 items in there. So 50 items in there, and that so we're going to complete the Venn diagram to show the number of elements. So it's saying that the number of elements in A and B, in the middle, there are 4 elements in A and B. So that's what this part tells us. Now this part tells us that in just A alone, so this is A, remember it's the whole of this, yeah? In A, there are 5. So already you've got 4 there. So this must be just one that only belongs to A, that doesn't belong to B as well, because we want the whole total of A to be 5. Okay? Now it says on this next one that the total of B, so all of B must be equal to 9. So we've already got the 4 there, that's part of it. And so just belonging to B, we must have that being 5. Okay, so that's so far what you should have. Now you know that the whole thing, there should be 50 items, or the number of elements should be 50. So we do 1 plus 4 plus 5, which gives us 10. And we do 50, take away 10, which gives us 40. So the 40 is outside. So you need to fill that all in for 2 marks. If you only get 2 or 3 correct, that is 1 mark. Okay? Then it asks you to find the number of elements in A and not B. So A and not B. So A and not B, you are just talking about this part here. Because you want it in A, but not B. Okay? So that is just 1. There's only 1 element that belongs to A and not B. Okay? Now the next one is saying they want the number in A or not B. So let me just use a different colour for that one. So A or not B. So this one, we want it in A. So remember, we want to count. We have to be careful here. So everything, we want everything, but not B. So we're going to include the outside, all of this, but we're going to leave out the bit that's just B. Okay? So we're leaving out the bit that's just B, and that gives you 45. When you add those up, the 40 plus the 1 plus the 4 is 45. So now question 14, here is the graph of the equation 2y plus x equals 1. So this one here is already drawn. By drawing another straight line on the grid, solve the simultaneous equations. So the other one we want to draw is this one, basically. You need to draw this line. In order to draw that line, I would rearrange the equation, leave the y on this side, so y equals, and I would change both the x and the 2 to this side of the equal sign. That means they both become positive. So we have x plus 2. So nice and easy. And that's an easy one to plot. So x plus 2 instead. That becomes. Okay, so then I would just draw myself a little table. X and y. There are other ways you could draw this, but I'll draw myself a little, so 0, 1, 2, maybe just for 3 points. And you can see there, to find y, we just do x plus 2. So 0 plus 2 is 2. 1 plus 2 is 3. And 2 plus 2 is 4. So then 0, 2, 1, 3, and 2, 4. So we plotted them, we draw a straight line through. Make sure you extend it both ways. And the solution is where both lines cross. So that's the solution. So where the lines cross. And you can see there that it crosses at the coordinates -1, 1. So -1, 1, and that's your solution, and that's it. Okay, good old Pythagoras, nice and easy. It's a subtraction one because we have the longest length, so they've given us the longest length here. So we're going to do 12.8 squared, take away 9.7 squared. Grab your calculator, so 12.8 squared minus 9.7 squared. Oops, 9.7 squared. That gives you 69.75. And then for the final answer, you square root it. So square root of 69.75. So let's square root that, which gives us 3 significant figures, 8.35. So that's your answer, 8.35. Okay, number 16, solve the inequality. So we need to do it to both sides. So I'm going to add 3 here, add 3 here, and add 3 here. Adding 3 gets rid of the take away 3. So what I'm left with then is minus 7 plus 3 is minus 4. The 2x stays here, and then 5 plus 3 is 8. So that's what I've got so far. Then, to get rid of the times by 2 here, and to just get a solution for x, I'm going to divide everything by 2. So my final solution is minus 2 is less than or equal to x, which is less than 4. Okay, so x is, so if we're talking about x is greater than or equal to minus 2, but less than 4. So that's your final solution. And then we have to put it on a diagram. So we're going to draw a circle at minus 2 and at 4. However, the circle at minus 2 we need to colour in, because you can see there, if I just highlight it, this part, that you can see, so I'll highlight it with a different colour, you can see that that is can be equal to, so we colour it in, and then don't forget to put a line between them, okay? So that is how you would show it on the number line. And that is it.